Hello everyone, I am Mahesh, working in ENH iSecure as a senior IAM engineer. We are discussing about triggering email from PowerShell for NLM users. This will help in sending auto emails notifications to the users and their managers if required to reset their first password. This is enabled by running a PowerShell script in a shared folder in IQ service server. We will discuss these details on IQ service in the upcoming slides. Coming to the next slide, the key agenda of this video is to understand how email notifications can be triggered from PowerShell script to notify the end users regarding the creation of their AD account along with their initial login details. We can send an email which contains the password reset link and the user guide which the end user can navigate through. This functionality is primarily used for NELM partner account resources where we cannot send directly from IdentityNow. We will initiate with the introduction, and in upcoming slides we will be briefly discussing about use cases, IQ service server introduction, PowerShell script in IDAM advantages. Coming to the next slide, let's discuss regarding introduction. Notifications from IdentityNow are used to notify requester, owner, sender depending on the action on perform in a particular application. In IdentityNow, email notifications occurs when the user requested to reset the password, invite user, change in lifecycle state, provisioning, etc. This use case can be primarily implemented when there are multiple contractors users getting onboarded in NLM. By implementing with the help of PowerShell script, we can share a reset password email generated from the application end and can also attach any guidelines along with the mail if required. This will reduces the intervention of IT help desk team from onboarding of users. We will enable better experience the end user during their initial login and in onboard process. And coming to the next slide, steps to be followed in this use case. Current IdentityNow templates do not have email notification which will send email ID, password reset link and user manual to end user on his first day. To achieve this requirement, we have written PowerShell script and rule to achieve desired requirement. Above diagram gives the overview of how we have achieved this requirement. From UI request center, HR or manager will request for AD account depending on the license to be assigned for the user to be onboarded. Once request is completed, Active Directory account will be created and after create rule will be triggered. By using this rule, we are triggering PowerShell script which is placed in IQ service for sending email by using SMTP server containing email ID, password reset link and user manual. We can also edit the content to be shared in the email based on the organization requirement. And coming to the next slide, IQ Service Server, also known as the Integration Service, is a native Windows service that allows IdentityNow to participate in a Windows environment and access information that is only accessible via Windows APIs. It's a lightweight server that must be installed on a supported Windows server that has connectivity to the target systems you want to manage in IdentityNow. It's also secure all incoming and outgoing communications of the server. Overall security of the solution and data integrity will be ensured even in critical stages. We can create several instances on the same mission as per the system requirements. This service is primarily responsible for provisioning in Active Directory from IdentityNow. Coming to the next slide. In this slide, we are going to see about overall communication flow between IQ service and IdentityNow tenant. First, let's discuss about virtual appliance, IQ service server, Active Directory, and process. Virtual appliance. Virtual appliances are the connectivity gateway between the SailPoint IdentityNow and the target applications. IQ Service Server. IQ Service is a native Windows service that enables IdentityNow to participate in a Windows environment and access information only available through Windows APIs. It is a lightweight service that must be installed on any supported Windows server that has connectivity to the target systems you want to manage in IdentityNow. Coming to the Active Directory. Active Directory is a database and a set of services that connect users with the network resources, and they have to be get their work done. A directory service such as Active Directory Domain Service provides mechanisms for storing directory data and making it available to the network users and administrators. For example, ADDS maintains about user accounts including as names, passwords, phone numbers, and so on, and allows for other authorized users on the same network to access this information. Coming to the process, IdentityNow always push task to a VA cluster queue, and from the cluster queue, VA will pull the request based on the priority of the task. Once request is fetched by VA, VA will communicate to IQ service for tasks such as aggregation, create and modify the accounts. IQ service server communicates with domain controller using LDAP or LDAPS. IQ service receives the data from domain controller and gives it back to VA outbounding traffic. Finally, VA will give the updated result to the tenant and requests for the new tasks. Coming to the next slide. Basically, SMTP server is used for sending data. It generally works between servers to transfer the information. It also allows organizing emails on client storage. Let's discuss brief about SMTP server. The simple mail transfer protocol is a protocol that mail servers use it to send, receive, and relay incoming and outgoing emails between senders and receivers. An outgoing mail server is a generalized term to describe a system that collects, process, and servers email. Much like a mail carrier, every email message passes through the mail server before reaching this destination. Relay accept emails from user and routing them to recipients, while receivers deliver them to the mailbox after accepting the mail from the relay servers. Let's discuss regarding the process. SMTP client will connect to the SMTP server. The email is transferred using the connection. Coming to the next slide, let's discuss regarding rule execution. We can be done in two primary places: cloud execution and connector execution. Cloud execution. These rules are executed in the IDN multi-tenant cloud. Connector execution. These rules are executed on the on-premise IDN virtual appliance. Let's discuss about connector rules. Connector rules are the rules that are executed in the IdentityNow virtual appliance. They are usually extensions of the connector itself. The rules are particularly to only to certain connectors, since they are frequently applied to carry out complex connector related tasks. Because these rules functions within the virtual appliance, they are unable to access IdentityNow data module or collect data from it. The basic logic required to initiate a PowerShell script is to derive from the after create rule, which then transfers the majority of the subsequent events and or modifications to the PowerShell script itself. Since this script would be stored on the client server, the customer could easily modify it as needed. Hence, the code runs outside of the IdentityNow platform. It allows the client to add updates to PowerShell scripted functionality without requiring SailPoint to review the code. Coming to the next slide, the popularity of scripting languages with object-oriented capabilities like PowerShell is because of this simplicity and use. These languages native scripts can access request and result objects more quick and effectively. The utils.dil class library that is bundled with the IQ service contains all necessary classes to access the request and result objects. Process environment variables would be present as input to the script. The environment variables contains XML based data. Using utils.dil, the script creates the appropriate objects. Once the object is modified, the script should execute the object's functions to convert it to XML and then send the XML to the path mentioned in the script's single argument. In event of an error, the scripts generate an non-zero value and locks the messaging in appropriate file at specified directory. And let's coming to the next slide. The IQ service allows function customization by using the integration of before and after scripts deployed using scripting languages such as PowerShell. Any required tasks that can be automated with the current sources functionalities can be automated with scripts. Native before script are scripts that are called before the request is processed. Native after scripts are the scripts that are called after the request is processed. The following sources support before after script for IQ service: Azure Active Directory, Lotus Domino, Microsoft SharePoint Online, Microsoft SharePoint Service. Coming to the next slide, sample PowerShell script. In this, let's discuss regarding the setup. In PowerShell script, the setup helper function are same for all the scripts. In setup, we will be defining the path that where the utils.dil file and logger file is present in the server. In add type, we will be adding the where exactly IQ service utils.dil file is present, and we are adding logger files where the logger file path is present in the server. Coming to the helper functions, this will support the functionality of public functions in the module. In helper functions, based on the client requirement, we can add helper functions. Coming to the next slide, coming to the body, it is used for conversations, read functions, operations such as create, modify, enable, disable. We can modify the code based on the requirements. This includes SMTP related code, HTML code for email template, password reset link, folder related for attached, any user manual, password encryption for service account, use it to trigger the email. All these code level details need to be added in the body. Only client code will be changed and remaining all part will be same except path where it depends on your system and services. And coming to the next slide, advantages. It will help end user to get his organization email ID, password reset link, and user manual from SailPoint as an identity now. Default email templates do not have this type of functionality. By using scripting language, we can achieve complex requirements. Please follow ENH iSecure social media pages. Thank you.